I think the idea for me to become a teacher started actually in the first grade. That's why I'm so proud to be a first grade teacher. It was fostered by my first grade teacher, Mrs. Lang in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. She was just that comfort person that I can go to for anything. My parents were quite older during the time that I started school, so it was really not a lot of idea of how to help me and kind of what to do. I did go to first grade a little bit behind. I could not read, so my parents were just in that position of just like, oh my goodness, she's going to first grade behind, she's gonna be behind forever. And it was just that understanding, but Ms. Lang was always there to help me. She never left me behind. She was always there to give me that push that I needed, that love that I needed. I do come from a two-parent household, so going to school and still having that kind of comfort and that positive ability to know that I can achieve was just everything for me. So I did become a teacher to provide that love, to provide that foster and that comfort to know that you can achieve no matter where you come from, no matter if you come to me behind, if you come to me above where you need to be. We can all achieve. We can all have that place where we're safe, where we're understanding. Probably is that I'm actually really shy in front of adults and peers alike, but I feel like once I get in front of my students, in front of the classroom, it's just like I own this, like this is my stage. Like they would probably never notice that I'm shy. Like I get on top of tables, I yell, we scream, we laugh. So probably definitely like I am really shy in person, really reserved, but once I'm opened up, I'm a big ball of energy and I'm really fun to be around. I think the first time I ever felt like I belonged at Root was the first day that I walked into training in the cafeteria, and I sat in the back. I sat alone because I did not know everybody, and walking into that situation, being the only person of color at that school was kind of really intimidating. So I sat in the back, and then everybody moved to the back with me. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, what do I do? And I mean, we just started talking like I've known my colleagues forever. So that was the first time that I've ever felt that I belonged at Root. I think a time where I didn't feel belong is usually sometimes during training. I do know that people don't think that music and food is a big part of a child or an adult belonging, but it is. And I believe that during training sometimes the genre of music that they choose to play, it's just never a big variety. And I think having that variety where students can feel comfortable in choosing what they want to listen to, adults can feel comfortable choosing what they want to listen to is really, really big. I usually always play jazz in my classroom. And then one of my students was like, well, can you find country jazz? And I was like, yeah, we can find some country jazz. So I found some country instrumentals. And I felt like that really helped my students to belong, that we're just not always playing one genre or we're just not always reading one type of book. It's just always a different variety. So I think that if we can push more variety into training, more varieties into school, then it'll become a place where everybody feels included. So I bought this calendar from Target, and it has every holiday, even holidays that you wouldn't think about, like today's National Donut Day, today's National Pancake Day. So I try to celebrate each and every holiday, no matter how big, no matter how small. No matter if I don't have students that celebrate their holiday, we're going to learn about it. I think the last holiday we learned about was Mardi Gras. A lot of students did not have a lot of background on Mardi Gras, nor do I. I'm not from New Orleans, but I do have a best friend who's from New Orleans. So I actually Skyped her into the classroom, and she was actually able to tell the students a lot about Mardi Gras, a lot about their different traditions. So it's just really learning about all those different traditions, no matter if we celebrate it, if we don't, so that they can go out and have that background, especially when they make connections. I have a student that is from Japan, and she actually makes a lot of connections to different things around the world, and I just love seeing their faces light up when they can make connections to where they're from, when they can make connections to things that they have seen or read about. So it's just amazing to celebrate each and every holiday. I think the book that my scholars love the most is Let the Children March. I cannot remember the full context behind the book, but it is about children who actually went out and marched for their individual rights. I do know that it was during the Civil Rights Movement, and they were so ecstatic to see that children can make a difference. And I basically preach that every day in my classroom. This is your classroom. You have a voice, use it. No matter how big or how small that voice is, no matter how big or how small you are, you can use your voice and you can use it to change the world. So when they see that children actually got out of school, they made signs, they went in march, no matter how peaceful, no matter if they did their speeches, that it was amazing to them to see that children can actually change the world and adults will listen. So I think that Let the Children March was probably one of their most, think of that word. It's probably their most favorite book that we've ever read in class. I think teaching overall helps me to continue this work. Another reason I got into the idea of wanting to become a teacher was to help students that only looked like me. And I had to get out of that mindset because no matter where I go, I wasn't going to interact with students that just looked like me. I came to Fayetteville for the opportunity to learn how to interact with children from other backgrounds and other cultures, and I'm so grateful for this experience. Whether I decide to stay here, whether I take it back to Pine Bluff, where I'm from, or whether I decide to take it somewhere else, the inclusion and the equity that I've seen up here, the skills that I have gained from being in this position that I am now, I can use that to better transfer it anywhere else. So I am just grateful for this opportunity. I will always hold this opportunity near and dear to my heart. This work that I do is so important, and I will never lose sight of making sure that I advocate for each and every child, and I would never lose sight of my passion for teaching.